Picture a quiet, brightly lit aisle in a Japanese stationery store. A father and his teenage daughter are browsing the shelves together. She spots a notebook with a clever design, picks it up, and turns to show him. This is a bid, a subtle offering of shared attention, looking for emotional connection. Right as she turns, his pocket buzzes. He pulls out his phone, sees an urgent work email, and gives the notebook a distracted, automatic nod. The daughter's shoulders drop, her expression goes blank, and she quietly places the item back on the shelf. Anyone walking past would see nothing unusual, but underneath that calm surface, a massive psychological collision has occurred. Blaming smartphone addiction misses the underlying mechanism. Invisible psychological forces dictate exactly how we unintentionally hurt the people standing right next to us. To understand the disconnect, we have to step inside the father's internal reality. He carries the invisible load, the unseen cognitive labor to manage a household, like tracking insurance, groceries, and work deadlines. When his phone vibrates, his brain calculates. Resolving this task now clears his mental deck, allowing him to be fully present later. This continuous multitasking and mental juggling correlates directly with parental stress. The sheer volume of anticipatory worry pushes the nervous system toward burnout. From his perspective, glancing at the screen is an act of responsible management, a choice driven by obligation, not a lack of interest in his daughter. He stares at the screen as a desperate strategy to lower his own stress, attempting to protect their future family time by putting out a fire before it spreads. The daughter's emotional reality is built on a completely different set of data. She is experiencing technofearance, the interruption of shared time and interpersonal communication by a digital device. Because she cannot see his mental checklist, she assumes that a glowing screen prioritized in a stranger means she is fundamentally unimportant. This chart shows the relationship between parental technofearance and child behavior. There is a significant positive correlation here. When digital distractions regularly break parent-child interactions, children show higher rates of internalizing behaviors like sulking or externalizing problems like hyperactivity and frustration. In her reality, the physical smartphone acts as a literal wall. It takes a vulnerable attempt to connect and converts it into a confirmed rejection. A teenager's brain often evaluates social interruptions as survival threats rather than minor inconveniences. This is the neurological core of rejection sensitivity. When a social cue is ambiguous, the brain's threat detection center, the amygdala, becomes hyper-reactive. It amplifies the slight, interpreting a neutral interaction as social failure. This spike triggers behavioral withdrawal, shutting down to protect her emotional core. This retreat is a deeply ingrained defense mechanism. To her brain, total silence is safer than risking further rejection from a parent who appears unavailable. Her sudden silence is an involuntary biological shield, a neurological protective response to what her brain misreads as a signal of abandonment. Half an hour later, they are driving home in a heavy, uncommunicative silence. The father is completely baffled by the sudden mood shift. In the passenger seat, the daughter feels a quiet despair, convinced she has been dismissed. This conflict was never about a notebook. It was a micro moment where two people wanted to connect, but were blocked by their own internal architectures. This empathy gap is incredibly difficult to bridge because it is rooted in fundamentally different generational nervous systems. The father likely grew up in a household where emotions were handled quietly and privately, teaching his brain to value self-reliance. His daughter is growing up with the modern expectation of emotional validation and co-regulation. Resolving this disconnect requires decoding these conflicting survival strategies, a task that forces us to look back at how our own childhoods built our brains.